In this video, I'd like to go over a pretty common file that you would have to manipulate in the real world, which is a CSV file. Now, a CSV file is a comma separated value file. It's something that you normally would open up in Excel, Microsoft Excel. However, it's really just a file that is literally separated by commas. So, for instance, let's take a look at that here. This is a class roster that I actually downloaded uh, from my programming lab. This is how I get the grades. So all these values are separated by commas, right? So how do you manipulate a file like that? Well, uh, you would simply import a library known as CSV, and that's pretty simple there, right? So how do you open something like this and read something like this? Well, let's take a look at how we could do that. So you use you would use a function called with. Now, with is simply a data structure uh, that we haven't used, and it's also a fairly complicated statement. However, for our purposes, with is just a with statement is just a cleaner way to allocate resources and acquire exactly what you want. But for now, let's just accept we're going to use a with statement. We're going to say with open. We want to open up the module 2 CSV file, right? And we want to read it. And we want to open with as we'll dump all the contents into a variable CSV. So look at this, and then look how much cleaner this is compared to what we did in the previous sections where we dumped, uh, you know, the contents of in this case, an HTML file into a variable. All we're doing here is dumping this content into this variable CSV file, right? So anyway, as we were talking, so uh, we want to open up CSV file, right? So how are we going to do that? We're going to again use another variable. We'll call it CSV reader, and let's say we want to open up CSV file and read the file within, or the data within the file. So we type in the method reader, and then we want to open up CSV file. We dump it into the variable CSV file, or sorry, the data within module 2.csv into a local variable CSV underscore reader. And then we're going to use, and if we just print out, so we print out, CSV reader, it's going to just tell us the memory location as to where where CSV file is, right? That doesn't tell us anything, so that's not what we really want. What we want is to get each line of data within CSV file. So let's go ahead and use a for loop to create to get the data that we want to be read out. So we're going to create a variable line, and we're going to, for every line in CSV reader, we're going to print line. And let's see what pops out the other end. Exactly what we wanted. Data separated by commas, and the comma is simply a delimiter. That's how you separate data inside of a CSV file. But a comma isn't necessarily the only delimiter that could be used. You can use hyphens, tabs, whatever you just practically use. Most most commonly used are commas, tabs, and hyphens. But I've seen some other funky ones. But you don't want to get too crazy, or you'll run into some issues when you're dealing with very common numbers. You don't want to use a number or a commonly used ASCII character. Then it might be it might get a little bit funky in your data set. Anyway, so now that we learned how to open up the CSV file, read the data inside the CSV file, how do you um, create and write into a CSV file or write a new CSV file? So let's say we want to still use the data in module 2 and copy it into a new CSV file. So what we're going to do here is create another with statement, and we're open a file. We'll call the file new grades, and we want to write it. Same mode, use W as before, as we used in the reading and writing a text file, and we'll dump the data into a variable new file, and we'll create a new variable CSV writer. We'll set it equal to csv.write, which is another writer, which is another method, and we'll use the variable new file, and we want to set the delimiter equal to a comma, or actually let's use a hyphen. Let's get a little funky and see what a hyphen might look like. So you see a comma here separates all the data, and that's the delimiter, right? We'll use a hyphen this time as the delimiter. All right, and so for the program to actually copy every line over and write into a new file, we have to use another for loop. For line in CSV reader. We're going to go ahead and use CSV writer, and then actually CSV writer that write row, and use that method, and then we'll enter in the line, and I think that should work. Let's go ahead and comment out this for now, and we'll go ahead and again write a new grades.csv, and pops up with the new file, new grades.csv, and all the data is separated by hyphens. And as you can see, the library is smart enough at some points to put in quotation marks, names are hyphenated, so that your module or your CSV reader doesn't mistake a hyphen inside the data set for separation, the separation data sets to be hyphen, so it won't split a name in two because it's a hyphen. It'll just corn that off in quotation marks. So anyway, that's how you manipulate a CSV file with Python. Something to note: the CSV reader does not come built into PyCharm necessarily, but all you have to do is try to open up a CSV file inside of PyCharm, and you'll download the extra module to PyCharm to read a CSV file. Hope that was helpful.